Welcome to another episode of the Neoliberal Round. I'm Renaldo McKenzie, your host and creator. And of course, with me is my co host.
Donte Nelson. Hey guys.
And Dante, you actually you submitted an article, or you're working on an article that we are about to publish in the Neoliberal Post and the Neoliberal Journals. What's the title of that article?
A mother's warning: the tragic event at a Georgia high school.
A mother's warning: the tragic events that at the Georgia high school. And you may have heard the news yesterday. Some of you might be waking up this morning to the news, or early this morning you might have heard the news of the tragic shooting, where a 14-year-old boy had killed some people. I don't know the full story. Dante, you were working the story, and because I want to go somewhere with news. I know you submitted it earlier. We were looking at it, and we're about to publish it as it was. But I just said to you, the thing about the Neoliberal Corporation and the Neoliberal Round is that we're a think tank. In addition to the other stuff that we provide, but we provide a perspective on the news that has not been explored. We often talk about the subaltern perspective, but this is a very important issue, and I want you to share with our audience and those watching or listening to the show. Um, Give us a quick summary of the article as what you're working, or the story as it relates to this 14-year-old boy in Georgia, um, who killed um, who killed some students at the school after a warning was given. This is it, and after you have read the story, I have to have a discussion with you because this is very important, and we have other stories coming up in the near world for the security and immigration policy rethinking the approach, and we also want to talk about the, the endorsement of Donald Trump,
Yeah.
but by the police. But Dante, give us
Yeah,
an
the
update.
individual.
Yeah, tell us what's going on with the story that you wrote though.
Yes. So regarding the Georgia high school the shooting, there was a young man that was 14 years old. Had a lot of mental problems going on, and dealing with a lot of hurt in school and at home.
Share with us the article. Yes.
A mother's warning: the tragic events at a Georgia high school. In a heartbreaking turn of events, a 14-year-old boy has been charged with murdering following a tragic shooting at his Georgia high school. The incident left four people dead, four people, and shook the community to its core. What makes this situation even alarming is the warning issued by the boy's mother just before the tragedy unfolded.
Wait, hold up. So you're telling me that? Well, hold on. We did talk about this. A young man, just before he shot up this uh just before the incident where he shot and killed several members of the school, there was an alert given. That's what I'm hearing. And by the way, we've been we've been talking a lot over the past couple of weeks and months and years about false alarm and about alarms. And the fact that law enforcement aren't reacting, but law enforcement are reactive to violence and to incidents of crime and violence, even after being informed or notified of an impending event or catastrophe. You know, look at what happened in January 6th. Okay, look at what happened with
There was a disaster.
with Donald Trump. when we understand that. Remember, he was assassinated. Well, there was an assassinated attempt on his life.
Yes.
He went to a rally, and people who were attending the rally had been alerted the security forces, and they even saw the guy and pointed at the guy and didn't do anything about it. Okay, and here we have a
They
story.
tried to strategize, and there was no
Where
strategy at that moment.
precisely, but here we have a story where the mother alerted the school, but 30 minutes after this guy killed 4 people.
Yeah, but this is this is
So
getting.
what happened
This is
after?
not the first
Yeah.
school shooting. There has been multiple school shootings within the past 2-3 years. More than 5 school shootings. It's a disaster.
Okay.
And
One of the things
it's
I would
heartbroken,
ask you,
man.
I think you are following the story. The school, this is the story. The school was alerted. We learned that, and we know this because the aunt told the security investigators who are investigating the incident that the mother had called the school, spoke with the counselor, informing them of her son and to go and check on him.
Right. They said the mother the mother of the accused had reached out to the school officials prior to the shooting, alarming them to what she described as an extreme emergency involving her son. This proactive measure raises critical questions about the effectiveness of communication between parents and school authorities, as well as the measures in place to address potential threats.
This is an interesting story because I don't think the school should be tried. I'm not sure what happened after what happened after. Do we know what happened after the school got that phone call? What did the school do after they got? Listen to the question. Do we know what happened after the shooting? I mean, sorry, after the school was notified by the aunt about the shot.
Yeah, because the mother had called.
The aunt. Oh, okay.
Stated that the mother had called.
Okay, and what happened after the mother? Do you know? I mean, what happened? Is there any reports about what happened after the mother called? Did the school act on the information?
Right, because they're stating exactly why was she calling and what was the extreme emergency.
With the son and to check on him.
Yes, correct.
So, yeah, what was the emergency? Okay, if you fall into the emergency, they're gonna want, okay, what's the emergency?
Were they texting while he was in school? Or were they communicating?
I mean,
how did she?
I am telling you this now. There is not.
He was about to have a mental breakdown.
Oh, he's having a mental breakdown. Okay, fine, and to check on him. But okay, does the son have a history of
divorce? His parents got divorced. He's getting picked in school almost every single day.
Picked on?
Yes, picked on.
So he was bullied.
He was, yes.
Okay. So he was being bullied.
Name calling, yeah.
Okay.
Was really having a tough life.
But the school was aware that there was some kind of. Did the mother tell the school that the school may be grave danger because the son left in a violent range and may have a gun? Was the mother aware that the son had access to the gun? How did he get the gun?
The gun was from his father. His father had purchased the weapon for him.
Okay. Oh, and the father purchased the weapon. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. The father purchased. Let me ask it. The father purchased the gun for the son.
Yeah.
How old is his son?
14.
Wait, hold on. Can a 14-year-old have a gun? You have to be 21 and older to have a gun?
Well, I don't know in Georgia.
And if he has, if the father,
You
wait,
know, like
no, 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 no,
they
no, no,
have,
no,
they
no,
have
no,
so many different
no,
laws, and I have not covered them, so you can, like, you would be surprised.
no, I'm not surprised. Georgia does not.
No, I'm saying if
There
they
are
do,
state laws, but
you would be
but
surprised.
the states, there's one thing states does not trump is the Constitution. The U.S. Constitution says anybody once you are an adult at the age of 21 and over, you have the right to be so long as you don't have any mental health issue. Okay, you understand what I'm trying to say? So if the father bought a gun for his son, the father broke the law. Okay. Not only that, if the parents know that the son have a mental health issue, why does he have access to the gun? Okay. I mean, thirdly, we hear that. I mean, whatever the case is, though, what we know is that the school alerted the mother alerted the school. What was the information that the mother gave to the school?
So
Was
so the
it enough
information
for
that
the school to act on?
the information that she gave to the school, she spoke with a school counselor and urged them to immediately find her son to check on.
Hold on. If the son is armed and dangerous, let me say this: if the son is armed and dangerous, and the is the mother aware of this, and they are asking the counselor to check on her son if this and the son killed four people. Now that I'm telling you, we are putting the counselor in harm's way. If anything, if there's an if there's an emergency involving a weapon or gun, it's not what this should be taken. The law enforcement should be alerted. We don't know the exact information that was given. All we know is that they have to look. The school is probably not going to act on that. They need to know more, okay? Because the counselor could be dealing with other mental health issues,
Yeah.
okay? How many counsel? You understand what I'm trying to say? So I mean,
And that was one of his episodes,
yeah.
but I don't even think it was just the episodes. He would just having he was going through so much trauma in his life. You know, when someone push you to that point and you explode or you lose it, black out. You try to keep yourself contained for so long. It's it's easy to let it go, but it's hard to and keep a hold on, especially being tormented how he was. Going through a bad divorce with his parents, trying to figure that whole thing out,
But
and himself. He doesn't have a lot of friends.
no,
You know,
I think there is a case recently. There's a recent case involving a young man had ki- killed a teacher or shot up a school or whatever the case is, and the parents were held responsible, liable. You remember there was a story. I can't remember the name of the person, but in the U.S. here recently, the mother was found guilty, and then I think they were trying to charge the father as well. I don't know the outcome of that, but apparently they charged the mother, or they charged. The allegation was that the parents know that the son was acting up or had behavioral issues and mental health issues, yet they still allow him to have access to a gun, and allowed and did not alert the authorities or the school, and eventually the son went and killed several people or shot up a school or whatever the case is. And what we're hearing is that later on the mother and the father were charged. I think the mother was found guilty. They are still working the case as it relates to the father. Maybe they, but now it speaks to the issue of responsibility. When we're hearing this story, it speaks to the issue of responsibility and accountability in this country. We have a case with this teenager who is responsible for the deaths of four people. The mother alerted the school. Now, so the question is, are we go? We can't hold her accountable because she did her job. She alerted the school that the son is going is unhinged, and that the school, but at my words, and that this or is in some grave. We're not sure exactly. All we know that there is an a dire emergency, and they are mental, and that this and this the mother said to the counselor, "Please check on my son." We don't know of anything else. That's all we know. Is is that enough to take the responsibility away off the parents in this regard because they made a call 30 minutes prior to the son um, shooting up the school or killing four people? How different is it from the instance or the scenario where the the parents were charged, the mother was found guilty, was held responsible for her son's homicide, okay, killing the homicide done by her son, killing. I don't know if he killed one or two people, but the point I'm making is this: you have two scenarios here. One where the parents were held responsible. In this instance, where the mom did do her due diligence and contact the school, we're hearing that to the mother, to the previous case, in the previous case, to the parents' defense, I understand that they also had actually they did their best to raise their children, and so it's a mat it could be a method in terms of a parenting. One parent tried their best in one way while another parents did another thing. But how do you hold them accountable based on the parenting style or the justification of it? I'm not sure how law enforcement will treat this situation. But what we know is that this is what we know is not enough. We don't know what the school, what the mother, what the information, if it and whether or not the information was enough for the school to go and check on the son. That's not enough. Okay, for us to hold the school responsible. They're saying that how I'm hearing some pronouncements and some conclusions about communication between parents and school and so on and so forth. That is frivolous and absolutely nonsensical. Okay, the killing of this young man killing four persons and the mother calling the school does not say anything about communication between school and parents. First of all, we don't know enough. Yes, we do not know enough. That's the first thing. Two,
Yeah, I'm saying the same
it's
thing.
first of all, how many, if the mother is calling, depending on how dangerous the situation is, the law enforcement must be involved. So if the parents are aware that the young man has a gun, they need to call law enforcement. Them calling the counselor to go and check on the son puts the counselor in harm's way. They will have okay if the young man have a gun, they'll have to let the counselor know that, and the counselor would have to alert the school and clear the school. So I don't know this argument about communication between school and dealing with mental health issues. No. School, what we need to talk about, we need to provide more social services, more mental health workers and case managers in schools. Yes. Not only that, in the communities. Okay, we need to make that service available in community, but it does not. We cannot be myopic. It does not speak to just this counseling, the communication between school and parents. That is absolutely ridiculous. What it does speak with, okay, what I'm saying, we do not know enough to make pronouncement about the school about what we do is that. And first of all,
say
go ahead.
the Georgia the Georgia teenager has struggled with his parents' separation and taunting by classmates. His father told a sheriff investigator last year when asked whether his son posted an online threat. I don't know anything about him saying expletive like this. Ray told Jackson County Sheriff investigator Daniel Miller, according to a transcript of their interview obtained by the AP. I'm going to be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away. Jackson County authorities ended their inquiry into Coach Ray a year ago, concluding that there wasn't.
But that's fine. I mean,
Wait, hold on.
go ahead.
Hold on. Concluding that there wasn't in clear evidence to link him to a threat posted on
Discord,
on Discord.
a social media site, popular video games. Yes, I think I know that site.
Okay.
But this is quite interesting. And if you the story goes on to say that the father said
What's that site about?
the father said that his son was bullied at school. The son, but we keep hearing these stories. A lot of these mass shootings that occur in school, or the person who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. All these people, when you look at their history, when you look at their psychosocial history, their mental health history, there is one theme. There's one thing that constantly come up: bullying. They were being taunted. They were being bullied. Obviously, we have to, as educated and academics and as a parents and community, we have to look at bullying in schools. We have to address that. Because a lot of the people who are perpetrating the mass killings, when you look at their psychosocial and their mental health history, at some point they were bullied. Let us address that. We're talking about communication between parents and counselors.
Okay, so let me read this.
What about paying for more counselors in school? And of course, there was a point you raised earlier. How did he get the gun? Where did you read earlier? You said that the father gave him a gun. You read that? He bought a gun for his son.
I overheard that on the news channel.
Oh, that was okay. That was rumor. We can't respond to rumor. I don't know about that. Yeah.
I haven't came across in my own research. I have not come across, but they used to always go hunting.
Yeah.
He said were frequent pastimes for father and son.
Okay.
And Gray said he was encouraging the boy to be more active outdoors and spend less time playing video games on his Xbox. When Colt Gray killed a deer month earlier.
Oh, okay. Colt Gray is the name of the young man.
Yeah.
So Colt Gray is the 14-year-old boy's name. Okay.
Yeah, correct. His father swelled with pride. He showed the investigator a photo of himself on his cell phone, saying, "You see him with blood on his cheeks from shooting his first deer." It was just the greatest day ever, Colin Gray said. There is no mention in the investigator's report and interview transcript of either Gray owning an assault style rifle. Asked if his son had access to firearms. The father said yes, but he said the guns were kept loaded. The guns weren't kept loaded, and instead he had emphasized
he had emphasized safety when teaching the boy to shoot. But was the what about the cabinet? Where was the guns? Were they locked away? We didn't hear that in the report. He emphasized safety, fine, but I mean, you are teaching a 14-year-old boy to shoot, but emphasizing safety. Not only should you emphasize safety, but you should keep the gun on the lock, the guns on the lock.
He knows the seriousness.
But anyway, we don't have much time.
Weapons. No, because
I know.
Like this
I know.
is sad.
Yeah, but we don't have much.
Really,
it is sad.
This human being and his parent.
Okay.
He knows the seriousness of weapons, what they can do. Gray said, and how to use them and not to use them.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So he knows about safety and so forth. But I mean, let me tell you, I tell you this. I'm counseling on mental health 101. When people are angry, let me just make this point.
His father created that mindset.
Let me say this.
He created that mindset with playing with guns.
I mean, yeah, and then of course he said he has emphasized safety.
He's being bullied. He's being taunted almost every single day of his life. Like, he feels lonely.
He said he felt lonely. He said he felt lonely. And but let me. I'm
He
gonna.
only had a few friends.
We only have a few friends, but let's wrap up this story. We have been okay. We don't want to belabor the point, but not only that, we hear one issue. He said that he has mental health issue. The father, he was exposed to gun. And at the same time, he experienced family disruptions in his family, where his mom and dad were separated. He's been bullied at school. His family were evicted in 2022, so he's dealing with that. So all of that and his exposure to gun and so on and so forth we could probably play the part in. But what we're saying is that here it is now that the mother alerted the school. We don't know what the school was. What we don't know what the mom know. What she told the school. The details. If it's just that what you're telling me, okay, then that's not enough. That's not enough for the school to act to move quickly because they could be dealing with several other emergencies. Okay, and if the mother, and of course if the son is already dealing with certain turmoil in his life, then of course they should not have had the gun. That 14-year-old boy shouldn't have access to the gun. He shouldn't have any access to the gun. It should be under lock and key. All right. But this is quite interesting. The article that you wrote, there was and we alluded to it earlier. You, it was quite general, but you made a quite profound and poignant point in the article. If you could bring up the article that you wrote earlier, could you bring up the article earlier? There's a point of it where you said that according to the relative, the mother reached out to the school staff, alerting them to an extreme emergency concerning her son. This desperate call for help raises many questions about communication, mental health, and school safety. How could such a dire warning go unheeded? Now, what I'm saying is that you cannot start with a premise that says, according to a relative, the mother reached out to the school staff, alerting them to an extreme emergency concerning her son. You cannot go from that premise to concluding that, oh, this call for help raises many questions about communication, mental health, and school safety. How could such a dire warning go unheeded? We do not know if it was first of all that argument right there has a lot of hope. You cannot come to a conclusion by saying that the mother reacted to school staff alerting them of extreme emergency. And as I said to you, there could be other things happening at the school. Okay. And if the mother is, and we don't know, up to now, we don't know how the school took the message and what happened. But unless you know, or the persons who are saying that know more than what we know. But we cannot chide the school. We cannot come to a conclusion that more needs to be done in terms of communication between mental health and blah 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 and so on and so forth. What we do, okay, but what we need to do is we need to let the investigation run its course, because there's more questions that we are finding out here. And then I hope that you get to read the story. The story that you wrote is not up as yet. You will it's going to be available in the Neoliberal Post, the Neoliberal Journals at the neoliberal.com, and then also McKenzie.com later tonight. You guys can check it out. And just so you know, we also published two new stories about police and politics. If I could bring that up, and we're going to share that story with you later on. Actually, since we have you guys on, earlier we read there are two new articles, two new editorials in the Neoliberal Post and the Neoliberal.com. In the Neoliberal Post at RenaldoCMcKenzie.com, and the Neoliberal Journal. The Neoliberal Post at RenaldoCMcKenzie.com, the Neoliberal Journals at the Neoliberal.com. Now, and this is the title: Why the Police Must Stay Out of Politics. Why the police must stay out of politics. It's a story that's trending in our stream. And according to the article, I said that the role of the police in society, is built on a foundation of impartiality, integrity, and a commitment to serve and protect all citizens, free from political bias. However, Recent developments have raised serious concerns about the intersection of law enforcement and political endorsement. Most notably, the police union's support of Donald Trump, a convict facing multiple legal challenges, and someone who, after inciting an insurrection on January 6, 2021, contributed to an attack that left police officers injured and one dead. This endorsement raises troubling questions about the values, ethics, and mission of the police. The events of January 6th saw law enforcement officers under siege, violently attacked by a mob, motivated by lies of a stolen election, a mob encouraged by Trump himself. The very people who were supposed to uphold law and order became victims of political manipulation, endorsing a figure who not only endangered their lives, but also encouraged an attack on the very democratic process they are sworn to protect, is a profound contradiction of police values. I'm going to say this again, Donte. The police union endorsing a figure who not only endangered their lives, but also encouraged an attack on the very democratic process they are sworn to protect, is a profound contradiction of police values. The police, as a public institution, must remain neutral and avoid any appearance of political favoritism. They are entrusted with the sacred duty. To enforce the law impartially, regardless of who is in power or what party they represent. And of course, we're outside broadcasting today. We are doing an outside broadcast here in the news. But this is important. This is an important story. I go on to say that the police, by aligning themselves with a political figure, particularly one as polarizing as Trump, they risk undermining the public's trust in their ability to serve fairly. When law enforcement becomes entangled in politics, it erodes the very foundation of democracy, creating division, fostering bias, and enabling political entrapment. Endorsing candidates, especially those embroiled in criminal cases and accused of undermining democratic institutions, sends a dangerous message. And this is the message, that the police are no longer neutral protectors of the law, but are instead political actors. This endorsement not only compromises the credibility of law enforcement, but also puts them in direct conflict with the diverse communities they serve. The police should never endorse anyone, let alone someone with such a controversial and legally fraught history. By doing so, they risk alienating vast segments of the population and eroding public confidence in their ability to perform their duties without bias. Let me say this again. And this is absolutely profound. The police should never endorse anyone, let alone someone with such a controversial and legally fraught history. By doing so, they risk alienating vast segments of the population and ending public confidence in their ability to perform their duties without bias. The duty of the police is to uphold the law impartially, not to engage in politics or support candidates with agendas that conflict with the mission of justice and protection for all. As we wrap up this particular story, in these political charged times, it is more important than ever for law enforcement to maintain their independence, reaffirm their commitment to impartiality, and avoid being drawn into the political fray. If the police are to be the bastions of order, justice, and democracy, they must stand apart from politics and focus on their duty to serve all Americans equally. Yes? And that is an article, an editorial that's available in the Neoliberal Post at renaldocmckenzie.com and the Neoliberal Journals at theneoliberal.com. Okay? Check it out. It's a very important story. What do you think? What do you guys think? And we're going to be asking a poll. You might check out the poll. Let us know what you guys think. Do you believe? And what do you believe? What do you believe? What do you believe, Donte? Do you believe that the police must stay out of politics? Do you agree with the police union endorsing a political candidate over another?
I
Never thought about that.
haven't seen
No, but if I were to ask you on the back right now, okay, how does it look? Maybe you never thought about it until I asked. But
I've never
if
I've never delved into it.
but do you agree? But based on my argument, do you agree with?
Because it favors in a lot of ways, but you really have to be broadly thinking about, like multiple scenarios.
Well, I mean, hold up. No, I'm asking you a blank question right now. Let's just say I'm like, if this is the question, as an American, do you agree and do you support the police supporting one candidate over another, one political candidate over another political candidate running for president, especially somebody running for president?
I think I heard.
The police union said on behalf of 377,000 members of the Fraternal Order of Police, we proudly endorse Donald J. Trump. Do you agree with that? Do you support that?
Let me ask you.
Yeah, okay, ask me the question.
Do you agree?
I just wrote an article why the police must stay out of politics. They must stay out of politics because they must appear free from bias. They must appear free from bias. Remember that we tweeted about this earlier. The role of police in society is built on a foundation of impartiality, integrity, and commitment to serve and protect all citizens, free from political bias. And we just talk about George Floyd. Remember George Floyd? And there's this big thing about police brutality, and about our leaders must pass policies that hold them accountable because of police abuses and because what police represent. Police are supposed to uphold the law and enforce the law. Now, if we are talking about, especially in a society where we talk about police brutality, especially against black and brown people in certain communities, and we are saying to leaders that they must pass policies that hold police accountable and help to prevent police abuses, then how is it then now that you have a police union that is supporting these very same leaders who are unwilling to promote and to pass policies that hold these very police officers accountable? I mean, that's a question that we have to ask ourselves as a society. We have to think clearly about who people are in power and how they are being. See, for example, Donald Trump is out there saying that a president has the right to abuse his power and still enjoy the protection of the Constitution. We're giving him a blanket check. This is not Russia. This is not a communist country. The U.S. is a different kind of country. It wasn't built like that. So what he is asking and what he's saying and what the justices are agreeing with him is something that has never been done before. It's as if we are a different country. Okay? This is a country of monarchical power, of totalitarianism, of despots. Yes? This is different. Anyways, but that's the article that we're gonna continue this particular article because there's another article that we want to bring up before you that we did earlier in the news and that's available in the Neoliberal Post at RenaldoCMcKenzie.com and the Neoliberal Journals at theneoliberal.com. Border security. Let's talk immigration. And the presidential, we will be, and just so you know, we are now members of the National Black Association. We are now members of the National Association of Black Journalists. And tomorrow we will be live from the watch party at Temple University, talking about the presidential debate tomorrow. So join us for that. But there's one thing that I want the presidential candidates to address: the issue of immigration. The issue of immigration. Is that a hot button issue for you?
No, it's not.
Wait, hold up. Immigration is this presidential election. You will not make your decision based on immigration. Is not one of the hot button issue for you. What's the hot button issue for you this election? What's the hot button? What's the hot button? What is very important to you?
Okay, illegal immigration.
I mean, no. Is that one of the? Is that something?
That is one, but that's not a hot pot one.
Okay. It's not a hot button issue for you. When we talk about hot button issue, in other words, something that you're very concerned about that helps you to make a determination about who to vote for. Okay. Let's talk about immigration because that's a very important issue. In addition to the economy, in addition to abortion, there is also immigration. And immigration always comes to the forefront during a presidential election.
Well,
yes, go ahead.
Violence and poverty. That's
violence and poverty. Fine, and of course, we wrote a book which is available at Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and we have a studio audience that's coming before us. But about poverty, we're not going to talk about poverty. However, many Americans believe that poverty is a consequence of illegal immigration because illegal immigrants are coming to take black jobs, according to Donald Trump. Okay, all right, but we are not talking about that right now. Border security and immigration policy. Rethinking the approach. Border security and immigration policy. Rethinking the approach. An article I submitted earlier in the Neoliberal Post. And of course, we're coming to you live. We are outdoors today in the community right here in Germantown. But this is the editorial that we submit earlier. As the upcoming presidential elections approach, the issue of illegal immigration and border security remains a hotly debated topic. The conversation around effective border security, however, has too often centered on a familiar and flawed approach, simply increasing the number of border agents. And of course, I'm against increasing border agents. Putting more border agents at the border, the US-Mexico border, will not limit, minimize, or prevent illegal immigration. It will only create a benefit for opportunists seeking to cash in. I will talk some more about that. But let's explain. In the article I write, many entities, both legal and illegal, profit from the flow of undocumented immigrants. Let me say this again. Many entities, both legal, illegal, profit from the flow of undocumented immigrants across the border. We're talking about border agents, yes. We're talking about politicians, yes. We're talking about business people, owners, the feds, capitalists, yes. People, and we're talking about people benefiting from low wage, yes. But let's continue with this. Let's continue with this. From exploitative labor markets to criminal networks, the system as it stands encourages the very activity it claims to combat. Increasing border agents only adds more layers to a system that has proven ineffective at curbing the issue. It is an expensive band-aid solution that misses the bigger picture. What is needed is a broader reconsideration of international competition between nations, which often drives migration as people flee instability, poverty, and violence in search of better opportunities. Global economic inequities push individuals to leave their home countries, and until these root causes are addressed, no amount of border enforcement will fully resolve the issue. In this context, in this context, in this context, the most pragmatic border security policy may very well be what former President Donald Trump once proposed: a physical border wall. And yes, 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 yes. You're saying, wow, after you just chastised Donald Trump, you are now agreeing with him. As I said to you, I am not a Democrat or an independent. Or a Republican. I'm an independent. And I want people to know that I am not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. I am an independent. I do not practice political franchisement. Okay? If Donald Trump has said something and it is worthwhile and it's beneficial for the country, I am going to celebrate that. When he is wrong, I will hold him accountable. That is what we do as people. That's what patriots do. That's what real patriots do. But okay, so I'm going to say this again. Former President Donald Trump once proposed a physical wall, and I think that's the best solution. While controversial, this border wall, the idea of a wall partially funded by Mexico could provide a tangible solution that directly address, is overly simplistic, and they are not entirely wrong. However, in an environment where more complex solutions have failed to stem the tide of illegal immigration, a structural border coupled with right diplomatic efforts may offer the most viable option available. Mexico, for its part, should be incentivized to support the initiative as a stable and managed migration benefits both countries. I'm going to say this again. Nobody is having that argument. Donald Trump said, let's build a border wall. Mexico must pay for it. I don't think that Mexico should pay for it all out. I think it has to be a partnership between Mexico and the West. There should be an agreement. And the second thing is, not only should there be an agreement, but Mexico should be incentivized to want to do that. The way how you get people to do things in the 21st century has to be different. Right. You have to incentivize it, attach something to it. Yes? Then Mexico and the US there'll be a greater partnership. Right. That's very important. In conclusion, and I'm wrapping up here. The idea for superficial solutions is over. Border security demands a holistic approach, but one that includes practical measures like a border wall, in tandem with broader reforms that address the deeper economic and geopolitical issues driving immigration. So as we move forward in the presidential race, this discussion must remain at the forefront, but with new thinking that moves beyond tired, ineffective strategies. And that's the article that's available in the Neoliberal Journals and the Neoliberal Post at McKenzie.com and the Neoliberal.com. And I'm saying to you, you cannot, if Kamala Harris states today that if her policy involves putting more border agents, of course, her argument is that Donald Trump, part of Biden's policy was to put more boots on the ground, border. It was her allegation, and I hope she don't bring this up at the debate tomorrow. She said that Donald Trump got his because the idea never came from him. He got his members of his party in the House to vote against the bill. So the bill, okay, and because so we and according to the Biden, Kamala, and the Democrats, the problem we have at the border with illegal immigration today, we've always had that issue, but it's mounting. It's because of what Biden did. Sorry, Donald Trump did when he got his people in the House to block a bill that involved getting more boots on the ground, more border agents on the ground. And I'm going to say this to you: I do not believe. I am happy that Donald Trump did that. I don't believe and I do not support more boots at the ground. I think it's a waste of money. I don't believe that having more border agents will help to prevent illegal immigration at the border because the agents are cashing in. They're making 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, $25,000. So the more agents you put at the border, the more they stand to earn at the border. Okay, you're just filling their pockets because you know what they're doing. They're driving up with their van, picking up these.
Well, who's the
Listen to me now. Listen what they're doing. Picking up these illegal immigrants.
Well, who's the city earner?
Who's to say we have choices on the ground? And please, we are members. We are members of the national.
So what you telling me is basically
This is not hearsay.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, we are members of the National Association of Black Journalists. So what we say is protected. What we say is protected. We are not gonna say who is saying it. We're not saying, oh, sorry, where it's coming from, but it is big news. Our sources tell us right now that border agents are picking up illegal immigrants at the border, putting them in their truck, getting paid over tens of thousands of dollars, taking these illegal immigrants to a particular town or city, dropping them off, and not just dropping them off, handing them over to their families who meet them. So this is logistics. Coordination is taking place between families, between citizens here in the US, border agents and illegal immigrants coming. Coordination and logistics is taking place. But yet still everybody have a problem with it. Not only that, I'm telling you, the feds are loving it because Americans want to be paid more than the minimum wage. And right now with the workers that we have today, the young people coming to the workforce, they hot jobs like that because they don't have loyalty. Like companies don't have loyalty. They say they have loyalty, but they don't have loyalty. So, and a lot of young people are smart now. They will quit just for a dime for more money. They don't care about loyalty. They are loyal to their pockets and to themselves, okay? They are hopping from place to place. There is no loyalty, okay? They want more money. That helps to drive up inflation. Inflation, what is inflation? It is too much money chasing too few goods. The more money in people's pocket, the more money people get paid, then it drives up prices because the price has to be in step with how much money people are making in the economy. And of course, please remember that economics is about the distribution of limited resources among unlimited wants. So you have to have an allocative mechanism and allocative mechanism. So that's when you start to look at inflation. If during COVID, all this money giving out with no production taking place to back it, with hardly anybody working to back it, that's inflation. It has nothing to do, okay, so I'm telling you, so by the time Biden becomes president, of course, it has nothing to do with Biden policy. It's coming from, if you study economics, it's coming from all the that money that was already floating in the economy. So now the Feds did what? The Feds have to increase interest rates. When you increase interest rates, what it does? It mops up liquidity. To mop up something is to do what? When you mop up something, you soak it up. In other words, you're using you increase interest rate, you're taking money from people's pocket, okay? Taking money from people who don't deserve it, who don't supposed to have it. So you're resetting So when politicians talk about what Biden do and what Trump do, they're talking out of the side of their mouth because many Americans aren't truly exposed to economic theory and the complexity of economics and and they try to fool people. Yes, they love capitalists and business people love moments when there are moments when you have high illegal immigration and low illegal immigration, depending on what's going on in the economy. When you want to drive down wages, you let more people in. Yes? You understand that? When you want to when you want to drive down wages, you bring more people in. So you're willing to do stuff to bring people in. They're not telling you guys that. That's what we're about here at the Neoliberal Corporation. We do not hide the truth. We are raw. We are we are subaltern. We are Pan-African. Yes? That's who we are. We bring you we are diverse. We promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we are thinkers. We are academics. We are close to the streets, and we bring you the news and a particular perspective that you might have considered. Support us by going to anchor.fm/the-neoliberal/support. Check out our books, Neoliberalism Book 1, which is available at the Neoliberal Bookstore at store.theneoliberal.com. Go to renaldocmckenzie.com. Check out the Neoliberal Post, the Neoliberal Journals. Check out our YouTube channel at Renaldo McKenzie. Like us, share us, donate to us. Let people know what we are doing. If you have content that you want to share on the channel that we have, share your content with us. We have over 11,000 subscribers, over 80,000 views. Our Google search on Google Maps generates over 251,000 views. Just so you know, we are available on almost every social media, every stream. Support us, send us your article, your content. We'll edit and promote it. Okay, and of course, all of our stuff are free except our IT solutions that we offer. We build websites, and of course, our books and our second book that's coming out. Other than that, everything else is free. Continue to support us, and continue to let us and send us a feedback. Let us know how we can do better. I'm Renaldo McKenzie, the creator and the host of the Neoliberal Corporation and the Neoliberal Round podcast and the Neoliberal Round YouTube channel. And of course, with me today also was
Donte, guys.
the co-host and the co-producer who has been working to manage and to keep things organized and to keep the creation together. We want to thank our studio audience. They were and others who chime in. And as we present to you, we were here outdoors, touching base with all our peoples in Philadelphia, in Ghana, in Zimbabwe, in Canada. We see you. In Singapore, we see you. Wherever you are, in Jamaica, the Caribbean, the UK, London, we see you. Thank you, Canada, we see you. Thank you for supporting us. Zimbabwe, we see you. Netherlands, we see you. Australia, thank you for watching the podcast and supporting us. Share us with your friends and let us know what's going on down south. Let's know what's going on in your neck of the woods. Send us your videos, your shorts, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Not too long because we're gonna have to edit it, okay? A minute videos. Let us know. Or if you're having some problems, email me, renaldocmckenzie@gmail.com, info@theneoliberal.com. Let us know if you're having problems sending us, communicating with us. Go to our you can call us at 445-260-9198. We're on WhatsApp as well, 445-260-9198. Thank you guys. And is there anything else we need to say to them?
Bless.
What good?